Greetings from Bulgaria. Today here is it's getting colder and colder, so it's time for a hot beverage. And welcome to our JUnit course, yet for another video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel because there every week on the Lambda Test channel there are many awesome videos. Also hit the ring bell so that you get notified about them. In the links below, you can find many useful articles and helpful tutorials. And also all of the code that we are writing in this series, JUnit for beginners with Selenium in Java. All the code examples, you can find them on GitHub, clone the repo, and for each chapter, there is a dedicated folder. So without further ado, let me share my screen and let's begin, because today we have a really interesting topic. Until now, last time, we talked about cross-browser testing in Lambda test and running tests in the cloud in parallel. And I told you, I showed you many of the awesome features on the Lambda test platform. And today we'll continue this journey, and we're going to talk about geolocation testing. And of course, we need to talk first, what is geolocation testing? Well, when your server might be in your country or in another, the server is a big machine where your website has been hosted. And when you open the website in a different part of the world, all of the data is crossing big distances, and because of this, there sometimes, for example, if I open my website from Australia, it will be a bit slower compared to if I open it in Bulgaria or United States. So geolocation testing helps us to test our websites from different or applications from different locations around the world. And the Lambda test platform helps us to do so by giving us proxy servers directly in the cloud with just a few options. How we can do that? Well, you remember this Selenium desired capabilities generator from Selenium 4, because this is the version of Selenium that we are using. You can go to geolocations and you can pick whatever country you like. And as you can see here, a new options has been added, geolocation, and this is the code of the country. So you can get, this is the only option that you need. And then when you run your test, basically it will run in this from this particular location, and you will be sure what is the performance of your website. You can observe the behavior. And in order to demonstrate this, we are going to create a new automation test. I picked this website, GPS coordinates. And when you scroll down, it automatically detects your current location. For obvious reasons, I won't, see my exact coordinates, right? This is why before that, I picked just the capital of Bulgaria, Sofia, with its center coordinates. But when you scroll down, this is going to be refreshed with the current city and country. And our goal will be to get this title here, to get the country, and then navigate to another a feature of this website called calculate distances. So in our test, we're going to create later data-driven test where for each of the, for example, we will list 10 countries with their capitals, and I will verify each time whether these calculations are correct here, measuring the distance between the two capitals. In order to do so, I'm going to navigate to this other URL, GPS coordinates distance. I'm going to write the coordinates that was previously detected from the first screen. I'm going to type them here. The capital and then the country. And then I'm going to type data-driven, the second location, click calculate distance, and then verify this distance here. So let's begin. I have already created a new chapter solution here. As you can see, it's just an empty test class extending our web test. If you remember from the previous videos, if you haven't watched it, this is just continuation of what we did. So please go back and watch them. And here we used a pattern called adapter. And in this driver adapter, we have two methods, one that it's connecting to the cloud, and another that is just starting a regular Chrome, a regular browser, mentioning the browser type through enumeration using a pattern called factory method. So initially, I'm going to create just a simple test with a single country. And later on, we are going to upgrade it and run it in the cloud using the geolocation testing. So the first thing that we need to do, if you watched the videos about parallel testing, we use this container, thread container. It's called, we have this static property getter that it's giving me the driver adapter, and inside it, each time, the different drivers are in this thread safe containers. So through get driver, I'm starting Chrome. And next, I need to navigate to the URL, which is gps-coordinates.net. Also, you will notice that I'm going to show you. You will notice that this cookie consent is every time displayed. And if you want automatically to hide it every time without clicking buttons and whatever, the easiest way to do so is through cookies. Let me show you. If we click OK, and if I refresh, you will see that now I have a cookie called cookie consent _ dismissed with value yes. And this is the proper way of handling such things in automated tests. And so we can use, let me see whether I have a cookie method. I believe I don't. Add cookie, no, I don't. So we need to add a new method called add cookie. Here at the bottom, public void add cookie. And here we need to supply the name and the value. And afterwards, we get the driver from the thread safe container. We go manage, add cookie, and we set a new cookie with name and value. And here now I have add cookie where we're going to set the two names that I showed you before, cookie consent and value yes. And afterwards, in order this to be applied, we need to refresh the browser. I need to add a new method here called refresh. Public void refresh. This is similar to clicking refresh on the browser. Now we need to call navigate and then refresh. This is coming from this interface here. Also, we will need one more method. As I showed, as I explained, we need to scroll down in order this to be refreshed. And I'm going to change, the behavior of our tests when we find an element to scroll automatically to it, and we can use JavaScript for the job. Next, I'm going to wrap it in try catch block. here I will write catch exception. Element not interactable exception. And we'll just ignore it if this happens. And afterwards, we can use the following code. We'll use JavaScript. With the JavaScript interface, we are casting the current driver. Then we're executing this script where basically we are calling scroll into view true. This will scroll with JavaScript to the particular element. There is another way using the actions class, but in my observation, it's not working pretty well every time. This is why I'm showing you this particular variation. And as I explained, I want every time when we call find element here, after that, so here I'm going to refactor this element equal, and then at the end we will return the elements after we scroll to it. And automatically we will scroll to the elements, which is awesome. Now, if we return to our test, we need now to get the map, and then to assert that the map has been displayed. If you return here, this is the map. So I'm going to start DevTools, and let me see, map canvas. Here it is. So we can find it by this ID here. And this is the map. And then I'm going to assert that the map is being displayed. And the next thing that we need to do is to find this city title here. We will use this ID to get the title. Then we're going to split it by these commas here, and we'll get the country. So again, by title, or you can just use by ID. It's up to you. Then we will get. We will use the getText getter of this address title to get the full address, and then we want to get the last part of it, the country, like this address. Excuse me, address parts. We first need to split it. We use the split method of the string to split by comma, and then we are getting the last tree. And then in order to format the current address, later we are going to exchange Sophia with data-driven stuff here from the annotation for the data-driven test. But for now, we'll stick to Bulgaria, Sofia, right? Current address. And the next thing, as we discussed, is to navigate to the distance page. And there, if you recall, we need first to fill here the first address, then the second. We have just for this text inputs, ID, address 1, address 2, and then we need to find this button here. I guess we can find it by this calculate the distance text. And when we clicked it, let's test it. Sofia, Bulgaria, and then Berlin, Germany. And when we click it, we need to inspect. As you can see, we have a span by ID distance. So we are going to verify this text here. So let's go. First, the first input, we find it by ID address 1. Then we type inside it through send keys the current address, which is Sofia, Bulgaria. Then we find the second address by ID address 2. And then we type Berlin, Germany, and as I said here, we're going to get two values later from the data-driven annotations once we execute it. And in order to get the calculate distance button, we can use XPath button text equal to calculate the distance. And we, in order to work, I tested a few times, and it seems that there is some of a problem because we need to scroll down. In order to scroll down to the button and then click it, we can use the special actions class. We use it sometimes for complex operations and chain of operations such as drag and drop, clicking through keyboard, and other operations. So right now, first, we scroll down to the element and then we click it. In order to trigger the whole chain of actions, we need at the end to call perform. This is called Fluent API. And the last part is to find the distance span. If you recall, it had an ID called distance. And at the end, we need to call our validate inner text method. If you don't remember, here we are just calling 𝗦𝗘𝗥𝗦, and there is a special expected conditions method called text to be present in element. This will wait a few seconds until the proper text is there. And now, if we want to make our test data driven, as I said, we need to refactor the test a bit. I'm going to copy paste it. I'm going to change the test name to verify distance. We are going to add a few parameters: country code, capital, and expected distance. Right now, we are not going to use the initialize driver method. And if you recall from our module about data-driven tests, we can use annotation called CSV source that it's similar to CSV files, but instead of having a CSV file, much more readable is to use directly annotation. So first, I'm changing the display name where I'm going to call it just verify distance from point 1 to point 2, and then each test will be one of these flags. We'll get for the country Germany, then for the country code EE, then for capital Berlin, and then this will be the expected distance. And we'll have basically 8 tests, right? Data driven. However, here we need now to change everywhere, some of the for example, here for Sofia, I'm going to remove it. First will be the capital, then for the country code and from the country, again, we need to modify a bit our start method, because right now we are using the one with just a single browser, but we want to execute it in Lambda test. In order to execute it in Lambda test, the first thing is that we here for the test name, we can put a special name, right? And now we want to extend the solution, if you recall from the beginning, to use another option for country code. And in order to use the country code, we will put it below the time zone, geolocation country code. I get the country code from here again, Lambda test Selenium desired capabilities generator. And now we want to use this method inside our calculate distance. We can do it like this. Verify distance from Bulgaria to country code. directly we are changing the name. And here for the expected distance, we are going to change this method here. Awesome. This is the only thing that we need to do in order to execute the tests inside the cloud. And to run it through geolocation. And here is the result. Let's now start the Chrome just to show you what we are doing. In the next chapter, we're going to talk about page object model in more details, which will be great. The test is green. I'm not going to wait to run it in the cloud. So yeah, stay tuned. In the next part of the course, we're going to talk about in more details about the page object model pattern, the most famous pattern used in automated testing. And if you have comments, just put them below the video or directly when you call the GitHub repo, you can submit an issue there. Check the Lambda test blog because there are many awesome videos about JUnit and a full tutorial there. And don't forget to get your JUnit together with Selenium certification because it will help you to advance in your career. Thank you and see you in the next video.